Hello, this is Jake Light, gaming lawyer at your service. We are back again with Great Ace Attorney. So, where we left off, we were questioning these two lovely people, and it seems like they are like something hiding, some dark secrets they are hiding. So we're gonna find out what exactly it is, right? Right. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak. Yes, he told me that that's his name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him a key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we had also had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? I don't see why not. It's just that on one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps we'll be able to tell us more. Oh no, we're gonna meet Sholmes again. It's terrible, very terrible. Let's move to Natsume's room. But this time there is a lot of place to investigate, it seems. Cat! Mr. Natsume's room. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountain of books that are responsible for that. I don't think I have ever seen so many books in my life. No, me neither. It's so dark. It's so dark in here too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anyway. Have you? No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Carrydap told us, what does Carrydap mean? Must mean something, unless it's B-E-D, the better? Is it bedridden? No, it can't be. There's no A in bedridden. Mr. Carrydap, I think it's a something. What's it called again? Jumbled up words to make a something different meaning. The great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Examine. Right. Let's bother the cat. Oh, meow. Nice kitty. You're a pretty big kitty. Where did you go, kitty? Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was Tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Well, we've been out of the countries more than 40 days now. That's not a short while. What's in the bag? Nothing. What's this? In Chinese, it's called 招财猫. It's a prosperity absorbing cat. Not a good translation. Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko, yeah, all the way from Japan with him. Maneki Neko. I hardly think you're in a position to command, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why am I such a giveaway? What else? What's this? This appears to be some sort of a meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a lot of slot for inserting coins here too. Ah, I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo. A gas meter? Yes, it seems there is a pipe gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. So, if we were to put a coin in the slot, that would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for the whole night. So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold. That's right, as would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes. Brr, London is a scary place. Let's look at the table, alright. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he'd dream of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look at the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. And that's just a short while before he was embroiled in a terrible attack. Must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Is there anything I can take a look at the thing? The sum of 2 shillings standard in the receipt of the picture of Monsieur Lecour, a meal for Gabriel, Canterbury yearnings. Power books. Look at the power books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine a book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn to the path of a tea ceremony philosophy. Hey. But nothing, right? Nothing. Window? Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time. After all, although all that remains is framed around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on a fit of whimsy. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Yes, it's making me. What the hell? It scared me. How is this game of crime solving investigation scared the hell out of me? Hey, yo, bastardo. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha! There he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you too. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria. Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Sogi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us, I guess. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Sogi. It was the one with Snake, wasn't it? Oh. Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, My dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lost the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrive in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at a railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki in that short amount of time. I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements in little. A little might try a lot. It is a mistake to think that one brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I heard too much bullshit already. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. He means the iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an innocent expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased that this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Alright, Mr. Natsume's arrest. Tell me all about it. We know this is to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. Screw you. For the stabbing of a young man aside here on Briar Road. Natsume, yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mrs. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Sato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Using big words. I'm so cool. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement of at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Miss Naosume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophilia. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. No, no, no. Oh dear. Mr. Garadeb, landlord. Ah, tell me. Have you ever encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I have ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. And it was the first time I ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. Ah ha 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 ha! I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. But you don't. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? What are you saying? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. So you're less than that. In upper echelons of society, of course households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary! As you can appreciate, for those on a precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in the retired army veteran Mr. John Garadab. Oh? A fable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. The dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for my soul. My dear fellow, I assure you, any man whose loss is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. I'm not joking. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes? Why is there no longer window? Do you have any idea? No window? I can clearly see that is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. What? There is such a thing? Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows? Precisely that. Oh my goodness! Until relatively recent, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of rear windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly close windows up, while the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as this, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps? It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, there is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized. And so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? Trust in their innocence? Yes. Trust. The only thing you can't trust is trust. Doesn't make sense. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Ah, ha, 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 ha. My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come here back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Caridab is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before actually, didn't he? Anyway, At present, this is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruto, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Nasume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probe a little deeper into Mr. Garrideb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Is that the end? A busy man. Indeed, he's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Great! I shall go back to Garrideb's room. Bad reader. Bad reader. Bad rib. I'm not sure what that means. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, forgot his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his... Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Almost another cup of tea, if you please, Joanne. Now then, why don't you tell me? Wah! For the umpteenth time, woman, would you watch what you're really bally well doing? I shall, sir. I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't give me much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb is hiding something. There's no other avenues of venting seems open to us at the moment. Perhaps we should do some digging. Yeah, let's dig. Let's dig. What is this guy doing over here? What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes! Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows. No! I thought I'm rid of you. Good gracious, what did you sneak? When did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. He's copying me. I'll sue him. Whatever were you doing over there by the window? I'm giving to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up there. Well... Keeping an eye to one's window, that thus is the prudent thing to do in London. I'm gathering. And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in the modest room. I see even the most trivial of trifles. And I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions let us conclude the matter before dark. Right, we're gonna do this again. Next time. Yep, we are just right about to, how do you say? About around our time. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this episode. I am dreading this again. Speaking as Herlock Sholmes. Don't like it, but you know, we just have to accept it. Accept that Herlock Sholmes is part of the Ace Attorney franchise. He exists, alright? He exists. That is all I'm gonna acknowledge. Right? So, that's it. So, take care, stay hopeful, but be critical. Thank you, and goodbye.